Hey everyone, it's Muriel. So I'm here today to share with you my Shabby Chic card on Shabby Chic Sunday. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I used to do this maybe 2 years ago, and I'm just bringing it back because it was always such a cool card to do, a shabby card at least once a week. I don't lean towards shabby, but I have done shabby chic stuff, and I have lots of shabby chic product, so I thought I would put it to use by using it once a week to make a card. So this week card is shabby, and it looks like this. It's a 4.5 or 4.25 by 5.5 inch card, and it's probably going to be for birthday, just because of the sentiment. So the paper pad I'm using is Gilded Lily. It's a graphic 45 paper pad, and I believe that this was I bought this in a rack only because when I took it out the packaging, the 12 by 12, the 8 by 8, and the chipboard pieces are all together. So 8 by 8 paper pad, very nice, very shabby for sure. Has lots of beautiful images of kings and queens and beautiful sayings. Really pretty. So that's the card again. So what it took for me to make this is some really cheap items too. I'll show you. I used my ribbon. This is the $1 lace ribbon that was all over the East Coast, I remember, and then finally we got some out here. I found this at Joann's, so I have some cream and some white. I am using a spray from Recollections, and I took it apart actually because it's too big for the card, so I had to cut some down and just use some pieces of it, and you'll see that. I used the scallop die to cut out my sentiment. It's from a Spellbinders, one of those layered dies, so I used this size here. I made an envelope just with some cardstock from my envelope punch board, and I used my punch to cut the circle out. I used an eyelet to make it look like a string envelope, and I cut the sides with a scallop punch, and it is sealed. I just closed it, so it's just for show. And I'm using some ribbon that I wrapped 2 white flowers around. This is some twill ribbon that I think I got this, someone gifted it to me, but this is another thing that I don't use a lot, and I have a jar here that says twill ribbon, and you can see I have several colors in there along with other ribbons. So I decided to pull that out. So I think that's all it took to make this card. So why don't we go ahead and get started making it, and I'll move all these things out of the way. And I'll just have the card here so I can look at it so I don't mess something up. So here's the base. And of course this card is finished on the inside. You can see it right there. And this one is finished on the inside too. Again, 4.25 by 5.5. I've took the liberty of layering this top, the flower pattern, to the pattern paper behind it, but we're not going to glue it on this card yet because we're going to do all this and then put it on, but I do have tape on the back. So on top of this card here, I just cut out a banner, fishtail banner from the paper. It's stitched fishtail banner, and I'm just going to lay that along. Let me get my cutter knife, because that helps me use, it helps me when I am peeling off this tape, because this tape just sometimes does not want to come off. Okay, so yesterday, you guys, we went to the fair. We have a fair here in Seattle, and my daughter and I went, and boy, did we have fun. We had such a good time, and I am exhausted today, I have to tell you. I went to my training session yesterday with the personal trainer, and then we was at the fair, and we walked and we walked and we walked, and I am absolutely exhausted. So that goes down first, and then I have the envelope, and I have it taped on the back, so I'm just going to release that. If you want, you can leave the envelope where it could be opened. The choice is up to you. This envelope is a 2 by 3.5, I believe. I believe the one on that card is 3 by 3 because it's more boxy. So you don't want to go 3 by 4. I cut out a 3 by 4 and it's too big, but it depends on what size your card is again. So the bigger the card, the bigger the envelope. Okay, so here's my envelope, and I made me a little pencil mark so I'll know exactly where to corner it at. So I'm just going to put it right there. I'm going to press her down. The next thing I have is my double edge crocheted trim that's going to go like this. It's just going to barely cover the bottom of the envelope. But before I put that on, I'm going to put on my fancy flourish cutout, and I'm going to go ahead and put some fine line glue on this, on some of the thicker leaves, just to kind of get it on there. And come on, this stuff is thick like molasses, I tell you. And I'll put some on the stem, just like a dab on each flower perhaps. So anyway, so we were at the fair yesterday. We had a caricature picture done of us, which came out hilarious, but was so worth it. We absolutely loved it. We also, I got ready to get on a ride, you guys. Like, I like this ride called the Himalaya. It just kind of goes around and around and around and around. It doesn't go up, doesn't go out. And we were next in line, and it started going really fast, and the kids on there were screaming, and I looked at my daughter and I go, I can't do it. And she goes, I knew it. I am not a rides girl. So what I'm going to do is glue this down to, I'm going to make sure that this corner here touches this beige trim, and then I'll just stick it down from there. So I cannot do rides. I am sorry to say, I'm not a ride girl. I cannot do it. I never did Cyclone. I never did any of those things that creep up to the top of the pole and then all of a sudden it's just drop you down. That never. And I couldn't get on that one yesterday. I was just like a big wussy. That's what she called me. You are such a wussy, Mom. So I said, yes, I am. But I couldn't get on it because I didn't want, you know, you got little kids looking at you, and if they see this grown woman screaming like a banshee with her eyes closed, no way. So we didn't. So instead we went to play the balloon game. You know how that is. You have the water gun, and then everybody sits down and he goes 3, 2, 1, go, and you get that water shooting that little hole. Of course I didn't win that either, and so then we just walked around and ate. I had 3 pulled pork tacos. My daughter had Gouda cheese loaded with pulled pork, which doesn't even, that's just a gut bomb. Anyway, we did have fun, and we had, they have a racetrack there, so we sat down and we had a cold beer because it was so hot. So now that I've laid my green things down, I'm going to, I think I want to wrap this trim around here, but I may want to wait because I have this spray. Like I said, I took the spray apart, so here's the piece that I have, and I'm just going to put it here, but I want to make sure that it's covered by the trim. So I'm going to put some hot glue on the back to kind of get that going. But yesterday overall was a good day. We left there. We went to the Dollar Tree because I was looking for some, I don't know what I was looking for. It's just a different Dollar Tree. Every Dollar Tree has something different. So, okay, let's see here. I'm going to put this like right here. Just going to hold it down for a second. So I did find another witch's hat because I want to alter the hat. But I think after I finish making this card, I'm going over to my storage unit and pull out my fall. I already have my fall decor, but I don't have any of my wreath making material, so I have to go get that out, and I'm going to be selective so that I just bring over just what I'm going to make. Okay, so now that's there, and I'm thinking that I can probably squeeze this little spray right in here too. So let's put a little glue on the tip of this. I ran into 2 friends at the fair. 2 co-workers. I couldn't believe it. One, we were sitting right next to each other. I had no clue. We were just sitting there, people watching, probably talking about people too. And she said, I kept looking at your daughter going, gosh, she looks so familiar. And then she just reached over and saw me. We were sitting, I mean, her son was sitting between us. That's how close we were, and didn't even see each other. So that was fun to meet her and her son and her parents. So, okay, I'm going to get a glue stick here because this looks like it's getting a little short. And I'm hoping I'm not talking too much. I'm just trying to kill some time while I do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue right along the middle part here so I can be sure that this stays down. And you can use sticky tape if you want to, which I probably should have done, but it's okay. So, make sure I'm still in frame here. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get this turned over and glued down. I'm going to just make sure the end of that envelope is covered up and the thicker part of this spray is covered. And the rest will be wrapped around. Okay. Lift up. Okay. So that's taped down. I have some, what is that called? That thick mounting tape on the back side. So I am just going to cut some of this so that it's not a lot of bulk. And then I'm just going to glue here just so it'll stay onto the edge. My daughter's in her bedroom watching, what is it called? Bridezilla Wives, or Bridezilla Brides, or Bridezilla, that's the name of the show. We used to watch that many, many years ago, and I understand they've bought it back. So I'm curious to see what the brides of 2018 are like. Okay, so we're just going to glue that down like that. And because it's raised, that's why I put the mounting tape, because these edges were raised and I just wanted them to be kind of even. Okay, so let's get our backing because I think we're about ready to put this on. And I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. So I hope you guys are having a good Labor Day weekend. Like I said, we did yesterday. It was so much fun. Even though I didn't get on any rides, it still was fun to be with her and create the memories. And if you are on my Facebook, she did post some pictures. And yes, that is a funky hat I had on. It's I bought it at Costco, and I'm so glad I wore it because the sun did come out after 12 o'clock, and you know I am all about protecting myself from these rays. So I was glad I had that hat. I had my hair corn rolled, and I had that hat on, and we had jeans and sneakers. Yeah, it was just fun. And that's one of the fairs we have here. We do have another fair called the Puyallup, or they call it the Washington State Fair. And it's bigger, and probably more rides, and probably more food. But this one here was a little bit smaller, and we like this one. We did go in and see the cows and the sheep and the goat and the rabbits and the roosters and all that stuff, because they're fun to look at too. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking and go ahead and bring this card to a closure. Just make sure here I got this. Okay, so now I'm just going to get it down on my card base. There we go. I'm just going to press. Okay, the next thing I have here is this ribbon with two white flowers. One is wrapped around with the wire, the other one's just glued on. So we're going to put some hot glue on it and get it on the card. And we're going to put it at an angle. I'm going to hold that down while that sets up. And then I have the sentiment, and the sentiment on this one here says, "It's not easy being a princess." And that's why I said this could be a card for a birthday. And that's going to kind of go right there. And with this one, the little eyelet will show, which is adorbs. It could be for a birthday. It could be for a young birthday or an older person's birthday. So I have some sticky on that. And what I did with this is I used the scallop punch, punched this out of the paper, and then I punched some heavy cardstock also and put it behind it, so it's almost like a chipboard. And we're just going to put that right here. It's not easy being a princess. And there you have it. This is the Shabby Chic card for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I didn't talk too much. I think it's kind of nice to not have any clear space where there's no one talking. You just see me working. I don't have music in the background, so you have to just hear my voice. So again, I thank you guys so much. I appreciate each one of you watching. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. And until my next Shabby Chic video, you guys take care. Bye now.